Yeah, thank you, Varshini. So, thank you all. Good evening and warm greetings to all the faculty, students, and professionals participants present here. So, before beginning, I would like to wish you all a happy Vinayakar Chaturthi. And on this auspicious day, I am with much pride welcome Dr. Karthik Armugam from Center for Nanoscience and Technology, KS Rangasamy College of Technology, Namakkal, India. Dr. Karthik Armugam is a passionate researcher in the field of nanotechnology and material science. He has a good expertise in the areas of chemical processing, surface protective coating, electrochemistry, magnetic materials, and then fabric coatings and bio-derived materials. He has more than 5 years of teaching experience and 9 years of research experience. His recent publication highlights the corrosion behavior of hybrid composite tailored through friction stir processing. He has attended various international and national conferences, and he has contributed, a good publications as well to the scientific community. And currently, he is mentoring a few research students and bachelor's master students in scientific realm. So, with much honor and delight, I welcome Dr. Karthik Arumugam once again. Welcome you, sir. Now the platform is yours. Please share your screen, sir.
Okay, thank you for your welcome me. And once again, I'd like to thank the organizer, Ms. Brindar, and coordinator of these programs, Varshini Sriram. I I thank everyone. I think I would like to share my screen.
Yes, sir, please.
The today's webinar series, I would like to discuss about the material characterization tool, right? Specifically for atomic force microscope. So you guys, we are all aware of that the nanoscience and technology. In the case the material production and fabrication, so there is a various method of nanoscale technologies are available in terms of fabrication of nanoscale material, right? Various synthesis method. You know that various synthesis method it will be producing the variety of nanoscale material in terms of high aspect ratio as well as the low aspect ratio material. So along with that. So not only this is the size dependent properties as well as the size dependence, the shape of the material, it will be play the major role, right? So anyway, we have to understand the nature of the nanoscale material. So we have to follow the material characterization tool. So those characterization tool very important to understand or address the nature of nanoscale material, right? So even though we are producing the variety of nanoscale material, so how we have to understand, right? So there is any specific tool? Yeah, of course, there is number of specific tools are available. So in order to understand the nanoscale material. So even if you want to understand the size of the material, so we can go for particular instrument. For example, we can go for particle size analyzer, right? So it will be provide the useful information. So what is the actual size of the material we are producing in terms of it will be shows that like size distribution, right? Suppose if you want to measure surface area, internal size, internal pore size, pore volume, then you go for BT surface analysis, right? Suppose if you want to analyze the optical properties and emission properties of material, then you go for UV and UV visible spectroscopy as well as the photoluminescence spectroscopy. The similar way, there is a number of the characterization tools are available. Even if you want to analyze the surface morphology, then let's start with scanning electron microscope as well as the field emission scanning electron microscopy. Then so transmission electron microscopy, right? So there is a number of characterization tools are there, right? So in addition, along with that aware of so X-ray based techniques, there is a variety of X-ray based techniques are available. The XRD, the XRF FEDOX series and the XPS, right? We can see the lot of characterization tools are available. So what is the use? So what is the purpose of the characterization tools it will be developed, right? So only thing we have to understand, address the, so what is the specific properties of material in terms of physical property. If you want to understand the physical properties of nanoscale material, right? We can go for, so we can approach the specific characterization tool, right? Similarly, electronic property, optical property, magnetic property. So in this ways, we can see the variety of the material characterization tools are available, right? Okay, so we can start with so the atomic force microscope, right? So this is so very important to understand the nanoscale feature of material. So using that instrument, we can analyze. So almost all kind of materials, right? All kind of materials meet. You can analyze the powder form, right? Thin film, even biological samples, temp sample, whatever we can sample we have. So we can analyze, but we have the some specific conditions it will be recovered, right? Okay. So in the sense, so what is the beauty of this instrument? So it will provide the surface structure. So what is the surface structure? Suppose if you want to analyze any material, so we have to looking out the surface. So what is the actual surface? So it will be happen so at the atomic scale or in the at the nanoscale level, right? So this is the very important for nanoscale material. We have to understand to analyze those kind of properties. So then only we can go for the particular applications, right? So before going for the particular application, so we have to thoroughly understand. So whatever material you having, we should be analyzed, right? So we should be analyzed by the suitable characterization tool. So then only we can go for so next level of your advanced research, right? So this is the important of so advance the characterization tool, right? So in the way, so the AFM it will be provide we can looking the surface of the material, it's a nano level. So this is provide the atomic level resolution, right? So atomic level resolution means we can see the image of the material. So that is atom level. So it will be provide the so unprecedented resolution and accuracy, right? So anyway, we are looking at the surface of the material atomic level. So atomic level means so we can say the image atom by atom, right? So the atom by atom means the arrangement of atom within the material we can see, right? So if there is any instrument is available to see like AFM, of course the STM is also there, right? We can say the STM, the SDM is also there. So AFM is also in the class of scanning probe microscope, it will be there. So even the TEM and the FSM it will be having, so it will be providing like particle tool characterizations. The TEM and as well as the SEM and the FSM, which are all are providing information about the particle nature of the material, right? But only the scanning probe microscope in which inbuilt with AFM as well as the STM, it will provide the useful information in terms of the atomic level. So the atom by atom, so we can monitor. This is the beauty of the instrument, right? Okay. So this is not like this is not like optical microscope and as well as the electron microscope, right? So in optical microscopes, we are directly capturing the image of the pattern, right? So you can see the camera. Suppose if you're using the high resolution camera, so you can zoom the surface, right? So you can see the at most the microscale level you are capturing the image. So then we go for electron beam. If you're using the electron beam microscope, right? So you can almost get into a nanoscale level, right? So what about that? So they're using only the optical source as well as the electron source. In the AFM, so we are not using any kind of optical source as well as the electron beam. So in which that we have to directly dealing with the sample. It means that we have to feel the sample. So how it will be feel the sample? We have to talk about. So you know that for simple understand. So what is the atomic force? So where it will be exactly exist? Simply you know that we are preparing the so many kind of nanomaterials, right? So all are very close, right? There is a closed all are very high surface area. The high surface area material will having easily what will happen? Simply that. So it will be easily agglomeration, right? So how the agglomeration it will happen? So there is a intermolecular interaction force, it will be there, right? It is a high electrostatic energy. So each particle it will be trying to attract each other. So the similar way, so whenever we have to approaching the two particles very close to the atomic level, so what will happen? There is some kind of force it will be existing. That force we called as the atomic force, right? So that force may be classified. So the short range force as well as the long range forces. So the short range as well as the long range force, it depends upon the distance, how much distance we are keeping. It means that the one particle to another particle distance. So it depends upon the distance. So there is a evaluation of different kind of forces are there, right? So that kind of force we have to be utilized, evaluate using the AFM concept. So this is the concept it will be employed, right? So one more important thing. So the additional feature of the AFM, you know that AFM it will be provide the 3D information, right? So this is a 3D topographic image. It is not like a two-dimensional image. The 3D image which give the entire length and width of the volume. So whatever area we are aimed to focusing capturing this material surface, so it will be provide the useful information like height and length. It means that depth profile of the sample. So is there is any other techniques which are available? So we cannot see using the SEM, FESEM and the TEM itself we cannot provide. So because they are all two-dimensional material, right? So, all are two-dimensional image it will be provided. But the AFM it will be provide the 3D, 3-dimensional images, right? So what is the beauty of that? So it can be scanned almost all 3 dimensions. So XY it will be scanned as well as the Z direction it will be scanned. So that's why it will be provide the depth profile of the entire material, right? So this is the family of scanning probe microscope, right? You know that the scanning probe microscope initially it will be start with the scanning tunneling electron microscope. So it will be only adapted for conducting material. And the conducting material. So in order to overcome that problem, as well as they have to reduce the component. So they will be adapted for this next level of instrument, that is atomic force microscope. So it will provide the resolution, you know that nanometer level, right? So the resolution it will be fraction of nanometer. So we can measure the surface of the image. So the Armstrong level to the maximum level to there is Armstrong level to the microscale level, right? So the main important thing, there is an electrostatic force it will be employed. I said that right. So you are seeing that in nanoparticle there is a electrostatic force. Due to the electrostatic force, so the material it will be trying to aggregation. Then it will be followed by agglomeration. Agglomeration, right? So this is the way. So when we have to approach the two material at the atomic scale distance, so there is a inducing the electrostatic charge, right? The electrostatic charge, the electrostatic force, it will be induced by the polarization of atom, right? So when you are approaching one particle very close to the atomic level, what will happen? So it will be simply happen that the atom it will be polarized, right? Suppose one atom it will be polarized, it will be induced another atom, right? So due to that, the electrostatic force it will be employed. That electrostatic force, right? So it will giving us a potential difference. That potential difference we have to be monitor, right? So then the AFM component you are seeing that you'll be seeing later. So there is a cantilever and as well as the sharp tip. This is an important component in the AFM as well as the piezoelectric component. It will be there. The electric transducer, the piezoelectric sensor, and the feedback loop. So those components are very very important to control the atomic force microscope. Why? So because we are going to approach the atomic level distance. How we have to approach the atomic distance? So manually we cannot do it, right? So externally we have to control through the piezoelectric device. So there is a piezoelectric device. It will be connected with the cantilever, right? So you know that how the piezoelectric material it will be working, right? So you know then how it will be working. Suppose if you are giving mechanical stress, what will happen? So the material content, it will be polarized, right? So due to the polarization, the potential difference it will be giving. So similar way, it will be working vice versa, right? If you're giving the potential to this material, what will happen? So that material will be expand, right? Using that expand, so we have to control the movement of the cantilever. So in terms of atomic level, you have to control, right? So generally, the AFM it will be working on basis of Hooke's law, right? So this is a Hooke's law is very important. So it will be measure the actual force between the tip to sample, right? So it will be measure actual the deflection of cantilever, right? So once if you measuring the deflection of cantilever, so it will be identified the so what kind of force it will be exist. So it will be continuously monitored. So whether this cantilever it will be bending upward direction or as well as the upward or downward directions, right? So that upward direction as well as the downward direction, so it will be happen by due to the atomic force. That is the electrostatic force. It may be attractive force as well as the repulsive force, right? So this is actual the spring constant. So the fabrication as well as the designing of say from tip as well as the cantilever. So we have to take care, right? So it will be specifically designed. So in order to this is a very high sensitivity. So since because we are approaching the atomic level, so when we are approaching the atomic level, what is the response we have to gather it, right? That atomic level response we are collecting as a image. So now you are seeing that atomic force major component, right? So this is the sample stage. The sample stage it will be connected the piezoelectric part. So it can move the x direction as well as y direction, even vertical direction, y directions. So everything it will be controlled. Then glass. So initially we have to focusing the laser beam on the photo detector, right? So this is the tip. This is the cantilever. The cantilever it will be attached to the piezoelectric material, right? This piezoelectric material it will be measured it will be acting as a piezoelectric transducer, so as well as the force sensor. Like force sensors means piezoelectric sensor, right? Using that piezoelectric material, so we have to control the movement of tip approach very close to the sample. Whether if you want to approach close to the sample, say we have to control here. So how we have to control? So we have to control through the giving voltage. What will happen if you giving the voltage? So this piezoelectric material it will be somewhat expand, right? It means expand means it will be maximum nanometer level. It will be expand or atomic level expand. So using that expand, we have to adapt the concept that tip you have to approach when you have to close to the sample surface. So this is the one of the way we are doing that, right? So anyway you have to capture so what is the major component, right? The laser, AFM cantilever, and the piezoelectric device as well as the feedback and the photo detector, right? So initially those things we have to be initialized. So first of all there is a laser beam is there, right? So this laser beam, what we have to do here, so it will be measured the deflection of cantilever, right? So when the deflection it will be happen, so there is a atomic force deflection in terms of attractive force as well as the repulsive force. It means that the cantilever it will be bent, right? So the bending reflection it will be measured by photo detector, right? So here is the piezoelectric sensor, it will be there, it will be measured. So by the measuring this atomic level force, so the image processing we are getting, right? So how the image process we are gathering? So whenever there is interaction between the tip and sample, right? The tip and sample it will be influenced in terms of attractive force as well as the repulsive force. So it will be monitored through the 4-quadrant photo detector, right? Suppose the reflection it will be hit at the A direction, what will happen? It means that somewhat the cantilever it will be bended, right? The similar way we have to analyze. How? Let's see. So this is the actual close view. So this is the surface of the material. This material we are going to analyze, right? Look at the AFM tip and the surface. So when looking at the AFM tip, so what is the at the edge of the surface, there is a, we can see that almost one atom it will be participated, right? Now we can realize, so using that one atom, so we have to approach, right? So this is the actual atomic force it will be employed. So when we have to approach tip which is very close to the sample, so there is some kind of attractive force it will be happen. When at a particular distance only it will be attractive force. If you are approaching very close to the sample, then it will be started the repulsive force, right? Let's see what kind of force it is happening. So in the way, so there is some kind of force it will be there. So it depends upon the what type of approach we are using. So there is a mechanical contact. When it will be happen mechanical contact, when tip it will be approached to the surface of the sample, right? So there is a direct contact between the tip and sample. So there is a mechanical force it will be there, right? Then electrostatic force. The electrostatic force it will be the tip it will be away from the sample. So it may be attractive force as well as the repulsive force. Then magnetic force. Suppose if you are using that magnetic force microscope, so we can evaluate the magnetic polarity of the material using that using that concept. Then as well as the chemical bonding and capillary forces, right? So then we can start with how the surface will be sensed, right? You know that again you have to talk about the attractive force as well as the repulsive force. So when the attractive force it will happen, right? So there is a close range of the surface. We have to approach the tip at a very close range of the surface at a particular distance. So there is a force of attractions between the cantilever tip as well as the surface of the sample. So what will happen? Due to the force of attraction, the cantilever deflect towards the surface of the sample. So once the cantilever deflect towards the surface of the sample, so what will happen here? So there is an actual deflection it will be happen, right? So initially we are focusing the laser beam on this center of point, right? So here the cantilever it will bend towards the sample. So what about the destination point here? So it will be changes. So these things we are going to measure, right? So the similar way, so when you have to approach very close to the surface, it means that the tip it will be contact with the surface of the sample. What will happen? So it will be repulsive force. Why that repulsive force it will happen? Due to the repulsive force, the cantilever it will be lifted away from the sample. How it will happen? Let's see, discuss. So when measuring those attractive force as well as the repulsive force, right? So we have to measure the actual surface topographic of the sample, right? So you know that deduction method, how we are going to deduct the reflection, so using that laser beam, right? So whether the cantilever bend towards away from the surface, it will be continuously monitored, right? So this is we called as a position sensitive photodiode, right? So it will be recorded each movement. Each movement means when the tip it will be approach each atom by atom, point by point. So every movement it will be recorded. For every movement there is some response, whether it will be attractive force as well as the repulsive force. Such a force we have to be monitored. So when the tip it will be approach or it will be tracing the entire surface of the sample, right? So followed by that, so once the photo detector gathering the response, right? So the image it will be performed, right? Whatever the points it will be collected, it will be sending through the computer system. The software it will do the process, right? So the finally we are collecting the actual surface topographic of the image, right? So in this I already said that, right? There is a feedback loop. This is the feedback control. So the height of the tip we have to always control feedback. This is very important. That's what I insisting that here we are using the piezoelectric material. This is the main purpose. We are using the piezoelectric material. Here, piezoelectric transducer is it will be moving XY direction as well as the perpendicular direction. This is the Y direction itself, right? So it will be everything monitored. So the movement of tip it will be controlled through by piezoelectric transducer. So if you want to move your cantilever for 10 Armstrong distance close to the sample, so here you have to apply the feedback voltage or external voltage, right? What will happen actually? We're giving external voltage, you know that the material it will be expand. So due to the response, so we have to control what is the actual height. So we have to keep while measuring the entire surface, right? This is very, very important. So then followed by that, so we can see the force distance curve. This is very, very important. So in the case, there is a, we can call it as a non-contact region, right? So what is the non-contact region? The tip, it means that the tip it will be keeping away from the surface of the sample. So what is the distance here? So here we can say here tens to hundreds of Armstrong, right? So we have to lift the cantilever tip. So what is the distance? The tens to hundreds of Armstrong we have to distance, we have to keep it. So that is the way. So what kind of force it will be causing? There is a attractive force causing. So you know that very, very clearly. Then, so the cantilever tip and as well as your sample, it will be contact each other, right? It means that, so what is the distance? They are saying that this is the chemical bond. How they, you know that material, the one atom it will be another atom, how it will be sharing. So there is an intermediate bond, it will be there. So when we have to approach the tip, such a kind of bond length, right? What will happen? Here is the repulsive force, it will be dominant. Why that repulsive force it will be dominant? So you know that according to Pauli exclusion principles, each atom and element which is having own electronic cells, right? Electronic configurations, which are not same for all the elements. So every element which is having own electronic shells. If you overlapping one atom with another atom, it's not possible. The overlapping means, so we cannot be overlap with one electron shell to another electron shell. So this is not possible. So because of that, so generally we are saying that the positive nuclei of the atom, one of the atom which is showing the positive nuclei, another atom which is also showing that same phenomenon. So the positive charge as well as the same another positive charge, it will be repel each other, right? So this is the way. So the repulsive force it will be dominant. So when the tip it will be contact with the surface of the material, right? Okay. So anyway, you know that the attractive as well as the repulsive force due to the interaction of tip and sample surface, right? Then as a result, you are saying that the cantilever deflections, it will be bending towards or away from the, so bending towards the sample or away from the sample. So we may call it as a here negative or positive bending of the cantilever. So this is to be continuously monitored by the laser beam electron. So already we discussed that I said there is a long range force as well as the short range forces are there, right? How we have to understand, right? The long range force, it will be very close. It will be very close means the tip as well as the surface of the sample, it will be very close. So when it will be close, these kind of force it will be happen. Some extent, sorry, this is for short range force when the tip as well as the sample it will be very close in atomic level or a chemical bond level. So this kind of force will be existing, depends upon the what kind of material we are using, right? So this is the long range forces. So it will be actually having we are keeping the some distance. So when compared to this one, so it will be this is the force curve distance. So it will be indicate that where it will be exactly happen attractive force, right? So this is the attractive force. When it will happen, the somewhat distant, the somewhat Armstrong level distance when you are keeping the tip, it means that it will be away from the sample. So So there is a attractive force, right? The attractive force, what will happen? The tip it will be bent towards the sample, right? This is the negative side. So we may call it as this is the negative bending. So when the material it will be contact with the surface of the sample, there is a repulsive force, right? So the material, the cantilever it will be bent away from the sample. So this is we called as a positive bending, right? So this may be discussed later. So the intermediate tapping mode it will be there. So this is the actual response of the curve. So the in AFM, so I would like to shortly conclude those different kind of modes, non-contact mode, tamping mode, as well as the contact mode. So these modes are we have to control externally, right? This is the constant force mode. So why we have to call the constant force? So we have to maintain the constant distance, right? How the constant distance you have to maintain? Through the feedback controller, or maintaining the particular by maintaining or by giving the particular voltage the piezoelectric material. That piezoelectric material will be capped with the cantilever. You know that? Okay. So here it will be clearly shows that the non-contact mode, which is the attractive force, it will be happen. In contact mode, there is a repulsive force, it will be happen, right? So here is the intermediate mode. So we can discuss one by one non-contact mode as well as the tapping mode. So all the three mode, it will be collecting the image, right? So only thing, so how much distance we are keeping. So whether we are keeping the AFM tip, we are keeping AFM tip very close to the sample, or intermediate, or too away from the sample. So based on that, so we can classify the non-contact mode and tapping mode as well as the contact mode. So this is everything controlled by piezoelectric device or feedback loop. Again, you have to talk about the contact mode, right? So in contact mode, what we are doing that, so we have to bring the cantilever to the surface of the sample, right? What will happen? So there is a deflection, it will be happen. So within the cantilever, so it will be measure the contours of surface of the material, right? The surface of the material it will be measured. It means that the tip it will be having soft touch with the surface of the specimen, right? So it will be soft touch. It means that the entire surface, so it will be measured by the under the constant force. So this is a very important word. We have to I'm insisting every time, that is the constant force, because in contact mode, the tip and sample that should be always in contact. How it will be contact? We have to control externally. How? Through the piezoelectric device or feedback loop. We have to maintain the particular height of the distance, right? So this movement, what will happen? This movement strongly influenced by frictional as well as the adhesive force it will be happen. So once it will be happen, what about? There is a possible for surface damage. The surface it may be damaged, or a tip it will be damaged. This is one of the disadvantage we can see. So when you are operating the AFM mode in contact method, right? So if you want to analyze these kind of frictional force as well as the adhesive force, so there is a different kind of so in the series there is another kind of microscopes are available. So in order to particularly measure the frictional as well as the adhesive force, right? Then you are seeing that the force on the tip is repulsive. So obviously happen. So whenever the tip it will be contact with the surface of the material, so there is a repulsive force it will be happen, right? So we all are agree or not? So it will be repulsive force it will be happen, because according to the Pauli's exclusive principle, so one atom another atom it cannot be overlap, but it will be bonding. Suppose it will be there is a chemical bond distance, no problem. If you are trying to overlap one atom with another atom, it means that the one shell of the one of the electron shell to another one of the electron shell, we cannot be overlapped anyway, right? So this we are discussed this. This is the constant cantilever deflections. It will be continuously monitored by the feedback flow, right? It means that through this contact mode, right? Through this contact mode, the tip it will be touch always, right? Initially, suppose if you want to focusing the 10 cross 10 micrometer, so you can think about it. So initially how to fit. So how much area we are going to focus, going to analyze, right? So if you are analyzing 10 cross 10 micrometer, that 10 cross 10 micrometer, so it will be analyzed. How? The entire surface area it will be analyzed. So analyze means the each atom it will be analyzed, right? So this is a non-contact mode. So another one is a contact mode. Another one is a non-contact mode. So what will happen? So here is the real attractive force. It will be happen because so we are keeping the tip away from the sample. Once if you are keeping the tip away from the sample, the cantilever itself vibrate, right? How it will vibrate? It will be vibrate above its resonance frequency, right? The generally you know that cantilever designing and nature of the material, so it will be very sensitive. When you are operating when you are operating the cantilever, so it can be vibrate within the atmosphere, right? So it will be vibrate. The vibrate means how the atom it will be vibrate. You know that so each and every atom it will be vibrate from its own position. Whenever it will receive some kind of energy, right? So it will be vibrate. The similar way, when the external gas molecule, when it will be interact with the cantilever, so it will be vibrate, right? So during that vibration, what will happen? So at the particular distance, the cantilever it will be trying to bend towards the sample. So this is the real force it will happen, right? So this is the force we call as the attractive force it will be happen, right? So in weak that here also we have to maintain the, so what is the actual distance we are keeping that, right? So this is also you have to control by feedback loop. So every time you have to maintain the feedback loop for the particular distance, particular height of the AFM tip, right? The similar way, like in contact mode, the non-contact mode it will be measured. So it will be scan the entire surface of the specimen, right? The entire surface of the specimen means so it will be measured the layer by layer. It will be measured. So here one important thing. Suppose such a case in non-contact mode. So you are going to analyze some kind of material, right? So there is a some kind of distance it will be there, right? It will be distance it will be too long when compared to the contact mode, right? Suppose the material it will be absorb some moisture content. What will happen? So it will be very difficult to measure, right? So there is a actual the actual force of interaction it will be missing. So you aren't getting any such you won't be able to get our expect the clear image you won't getting, right? So the image it will be distorted, right? So next one is the tapping mode. So this is the intermediate mode. So it will be laying in between the contact as well as the non-contact mode. So here is the actually the tip it will be vibrate its own resonance frequency, right? Own resonance frequency means it will be intermediate state. We may தமிழ்ல சொல்லணும்னா பட்டும் படாத மாதிரி என்ன பண்ணாது. So it will be vibrating, right? Sampleல பட்டும் படாத மாதிரி என்ன பண்ணா vibrate ஆகிட்டே இருக்கும், right? Right. So what will happen? So the motion is reduced by attractive as well as the repulsive force. Because here you know that the cantilever it will be vibrate because of the its own resonance frequency it will be vibrate, right? So the vibration how it will happen? So this is the attractive force, it will be repulsive force. This is a kind of oscillation. You know that sinusoidal wave propagation. So any oscillation it will be periodically happen, right? So we may call it as a sinusoidal wave motion, right? The similar way, the cantilever, it will be vibrate. So within that, there is an attractive force as well as the repulsive force, it will be there. So when you are using that concept, when the tapping mode, it will be measuring the entire surface area, right? So whenever you think about whatever you are going to measure the surface of the surface of the sample, it cannot be always uniform. So you don't think about, right? The surface, it will be, there's a depth variation, it will be there, depth and height profile, it will be there. So depends upon the depth and the height. So the height of the sample itself adjusted by the cantilever, right? So anyway, that we have to maintain the feedback loop. So in order to I mean that in order to show the particular height, right? Right. So here one of the important point we have to discuss here. So the mode of operation, so this tapping mode, this is less destructive than the contact mode because this is not touching, right? So this tapping mode, the tip which cannot be touched with the surface of the sample, since it will be called as a less destructive, and it will be more accurate than non-contact mode, right? So whenever the mass is present. So anyway, here the feedback loop is very, very important. So every time I'm saying that the feedback is very, very important. So when you are maintaining the feedback loop, it means that the feedback loop, it will be control the particular height of the tip, right? So what is the actual distance we are keeping? So depends upon the actual distance, we may classify it. So this is the tapping mode, this is the non-contact mode, this is the contact mode, right? So let's see how the forces are measured. So you will be getting more clear the concept, right? So how the cantilever deflection, it will be happen. So whether the force will be downward direction or upward direction, right? So you can see that. So this is so initially we have fixed, right? Initially we are aligned, so there is no deflections, right? So it means that there is no cantilever deflections happen. So then next one, whenever the attractive force it will happen, the cantilever, it will be bent towards the sample. Right here you can see that repulsive force. So these kind of force we are continuously monitoring when wherever the AFM tip, it will be tracing the entire surface of the material, right? So one particular region, so you may getting the deflection, right? Deflection, it will be high. Some of the point, the deflection, it will be low. So such a way, each and every point, it will be measured. It will be in the measuring process. It will be like a laser scanning process. So line by line, the atom by line, atom by atom, it will be measured. So as well as the y direction, it will be measured like it will be perpendicular vibration of atom. Whenever the tip, it will be vibrate, so its own resonance frequency, it will also be measured. This is like similar to that scanning Thalnik electron microscope. So next one is very important, the fabrication of cantilever. So it will be those things, it will be made up of silicon nitride or Si component it will be using, because of it will be very sensitive, right? So whenever designing the spring constant, right, the spring constant we have to what I am like to say here, that when the cantilever, it will be bent, right, what will happen? The cantilever which contain number of atoms, so it will be elongated, right? So during that force of attraction, it will be represents the atoms should not be removed, right? So the similar way we have to take care of, so whenever the fabrication of cantilever as well as the tip. So and also the resolution factor, which is also important based on that whether it will be high aspect ratio as well as the low aspect ratio. So whenever we are going to measure the surface of the image, the surface, it will be some of the, suppose if you are making so we are keeping in mind, so our material, it will be very smooth surface, right? If you're thinking about that, if you are thinking like that, So we have no problem. So we have no problem means, so when you are going to measure those samples, right, you can see the clear difference. Suppose the surface is very rough and tough, what will happen? So we have to use the high aspect ratio, because the tip that should be travel at the entire area, right? So the entire area, it will be ready to travel. So whether it will be tapping mode or non-contact mode or intermediate mode, right? Suppose the low aspect ratio, so it cannot be focused. This area we cannot be focused. When your tip will be designing low aspect ratio, right? So the resolution factor also very important. So whenever you know the STM measurement, it will be directly measuring the perpendicular directions, right? So the whenever the tip it will be vibrate or own resonance frequency, so the AFM measurement we are resolution we called as a sub Armstrong level, right? So it will be great resolutions rather than the sample. It will be measured the XY directions, right? So let's we have to think about what kind of sample we are going to use, right? So it will be we can use all kind of sample. There is no sample preparation is required, right? So it can be even image in air mode as well as the liquid mode. We can be operated. So only thing the sample height we have to be limited, right? So we can measure the dry powder, so the evaporated suspension, bioparticle, carbon nanotube, temp sample. You know what is the temp sample? So in order to measure, in order to analyze stem analysis, there is a sample preparation. It will be there, right? The sample preparation it will be somewhat wet. It will be there. So even that it means that the AFM it will be measured in wet condition itself, right? Even the SEM sample it will be measured, right? SEM it will be only useful for non-conducting conducting material. So in order to measure, we can quote conducting material. So anyway, that it will be whether non-conducting material, all kind of material, it will be measured by the AF. So imaging liquids, bioparticles, the organic or inorganic particle. So everything it will be measured. So whether it will be a hard material, soft material, right? Suppose if you are going to measure the hard material, so we have to change the mode. Suppose since because if you are using contact mode, the tip it will be damaged. So in order to avoid that, you have to use whether non-contact mode or tapping mode. Right? Whenever you are using, trying to analyze some biological sample, wet content sample, so the best preference you go for non-contact mode or intermediate mode with high vacuum, right? So I would like to show some of the image when I handle the instrument AFM. So this is the image you are seeing that epoxy resins, right? So I have developed anti-corrosion coating for pipeline corrosion, right? So before going to coating, so after deposition of coating, like, so I have measured the surface topography, the resin pattern, how it will be looking like, right? You can see that. So it will be showing that the clear pictures. Even there is a small parts, it will be there. Small debris, it will be there. So it will be clearly identified. This is the 10 micrometer scale, right? Suppose if you want to analyze 5 micrometer scale, so you have to fix. Initially, we have to fix. Suppose you want to analyze the 50 nanometer scale, you have to fix. It depends upon the your nature of the material, right? So you know that whenever you are going to prepare such a kind of material, you got some idea. So our material will be very smooth, right? So we can approach. We're trying to approach. Let's see. So what about the resolution? If we have a material having too rough and tough, we cannot be focused very close to the 5 nanometer, 10 nanometer. It's not possible. The tip and everything it will be broken. So we cannot be get proper high resolution image. So next one you can see that the roughness of the material, right? So if you want to measure the roughness of the material from this point to this point, you can track. So this can be done through the AFM software. So after collecting the image, right? So the software you will be doing that, right? If you want to measure, so this section to this section, just you have track the line. So they will be getting the actual surface roughness across the surface of the sample. So this is another image. I have developed the thermal barrier coating, right? Thermal barrier coating on alloy SS stainless steel specimen using that aluminum zirconia. This is silicate based thermal barrier coating, right? So the material after coating, it will be heat treated for 1000 degree for 1000 hours. So what will happen? You have to think about. So after 1000 degree for 100 hours, what will happen? So this is the way we have to analyze. So what about the surface feature? I am analyzing. I'm focusing. This area is 50 micrometer, right? This is the 2-dimensional. This is the 3-dimensional image. The surface of the coating, it will be oxidized or deformations. So everything we have to capture. So that you could see the surface of the coating, it will be smooth or not. So you can also see some depth profile. Using that here 2D image, we cannot see some depth profile. So whenever you can go for a 3-dimensional image, so it will be clearly depicted, right? What actually the maximum deformation oxidations it will be occurring, right? From that deformations, we can simply identify the nature of the thermal barrier coating. So whether it will be stabilized or not in various atmospheric conditions, right? So not only for thermal barrier coating, even if you develop the solar panel, whatever sputtering coating and epitaxy, PVD, CVD coating after developing, so you can visualize how the coating it will be arranged, right? So how the layer by layer structure it will be formed. So everything we can see. So next one is the nano indentation. So this is the similar aspect to the AFM, right? The nano indentation, which is inbuilt with scanning probe microscope, right? This is the beauty of this instrument. So the nano indentations, it will be measured simultaneously. So the elastic properties of the material. So elastic properties in terms of mechanical, the hardness as well as the Young's modulus of the material. So using that nano indentation, so we are using here nano indenter, right? The dimension of nano indenter, this is the bromide shape. The indenter diameter, generally we cannot say the diameter. So there is an angle, 3-dimensional angle, it will be depicted. There is a bromide shape, right? So there is a imprint, you know that imprint. So this is you are seeing that imprint, right? So it will be measured as a angle. So what is the uses of these nano indentations? So you can measure so what is the elastic properties of the material, right? So it will be directly relate the hardness and the elastic modulus. This is the loading curve. So we have to load, you know, the bulk harness, the Vickers harness, you know that, right? How they are operating. You look at the indenter size radiations. It will be 2 micro scale level, right? So when you are using the bulk indenter, so it will be occupied the more exposed area. But in the case of nano indentations, it will be specifically focused atomic level as well as the nanoscale level. So the indenter imprint, it will be only exposed at particular nanoscale level or atomic level. There is a crystalline level, it will be exposed. So whenever we have to expose in such a level, so we can get and collecting the real properties of in terms of real elastic properties of material we are gathering, right? So this is the reliable instrument if you want to measure the nano indentation, right? So it will be provided. This is the loading. We are continuously loading. So initially we have to fix the load. So how much load we are going to give that sample, right? So once if you are fixing, for example, 100 micronewton force, so it will be started. we have to fix the time, right? So before going to analyze, we have to give the input parameter. So how much load we are going to give, what is the time, what is the time for loading as well as the unloading process, right? What will happen when we are loading the intended, it will be depth towards the sample. At the same time, when you are releasing loading, there some of the, suppose the material will be so elastic nature, it will be bounce back, right? Using that concept, so whether the material having how much elastic property as well as how much elastic property it is having in terms of hardness as well as the Young's modulus. So this is the single point measurement, right? Suppose you were preparing the huge area, if you want to analyze the elastic properties of thin film or any other hard material, right? So you have to the huge area, it will be there. Suppose if you focusing the particular area, so we cannot assure, right? Because the intended depth it will be having nanoscale level, right? So if you are experienced nanoscale level, what will happen? So if you are experienced the nanoscale level, so we cannot be sure the 100% of the elastic properties of material. So in order to overcome that issues, we have to test the nano indentation at a different point, right? Suppose if you want to analyze the 5 micrometer location, so you have to different place. Here you can place, here we can place. I will show you. So different place we have to mount the tip, right? So it will be monitored. So if you are taking the average of the entire result like hardness in terms of Young's modulus, so we can promote it that this is average results we are measuring through the nano indentation. This is we called as a 5-point indentation or a 10-point indentation, right? So this is the one of the beautiful instrument. So at the same time, so this is one of the result. This is the different load level. You know that. Suppose if you want measure, suppose if you are developing coating, right? The layer by layer coating. Suppose if you are example for 5-layer coating, it will be developed. You don't know that what is the actual thickness of coating, right? So each layer, how it will be, what is the stability of coating, we don't know. So such a case, so we have to think about using that nano indentation. So how it will be performed. So initially here we have to fix the same way. Initially how to fix the operating load. Operating load means initially if you are trying to give 100 Newton force, you can assume, right? If you giving 100 Newton force, so it will be divided by 3. There is a 3 segment. Assume that initially we are giving 100 micronewton force, right? So in order to have to measure at the 3 segment, so it will be split up, right? Once it will be split up, for the first segment it will be taking as a 300 micronewton. For this 300 micronewton response, this is the load, actual load we are giving to the sample. What is the response, right? So what is the depth profile for the corresponding 3 micronewton force? Right? So you are seeing that. So then what about, then again you have to increasing the load. Again it will be showing the same profile path. It means that, so if you are coating the layer by layer coating, the individual layer, so we can measure how it will be stability of the coating, we can measure, right? So this is the one, this is one of the very, very important technique, the multi-layer coating in order to measure hardness as well as the Young's modulus. So in the case, another important, I said the in situ SPM image. The nano indentation, it will be giving the, it is always, it is at the same time, it will be measure the surface of the image. Whatever the sample we are going to measure the elastic properties of material, at the same time, so the nano indentation, it will be performed and capturing the surface of the material. So whatever image you are seeing, that this is the actual surface of the specimen, SS specimen, right? I am giving the load, right? So this is a two-dimensional image. This is three-dimensional image. So you can look at the surface, the clarity of the surface. This is what we need, right? So this is what we have to address and explore. So this is the real surface property. So whenever you go for particular applications, right, particular reactions, so these things we have to consider. So another example, so the material, it will be heat treated, right? 1800 degree, it will be heat treated. So the material will be oxidized. The surface of the material, it will be clearly oxidized. So that oxidized part will be measured through the in situ scanning probe microscope. So this is the three-dimensional image. You are looking at three-dimensional image. You can see the surface, right? So this is the real-time image. So we can getting from the nano indentation. So at the end, you have to wind up. So I am from the K.S. Rangasamy College of Technology at the Center for Nanoscience Technology. So we have the number of advanced characterization tool like the particle size analyzer. So it will be useful for particle size measurement, size distribution. This is average size distribution. So we can measure from 1 nanometer to even the 1000 micrometer itself measure. Then Fourier transform infrared spectroscopy. This is one of the functional characterization tool. If you functional characterization of material, it will be analyzed, right? So whether it will be absorption as well as the transmission mode, we can evaluate. Then nano indentation, you are seeing that. Next, energy dispositive X-ray spectroscopy. So this is the elemental composition analysis. We can be measured. Then auto lab. So here we are doing electrochemical corrosions, impedance, CV, cyclic altimeter analysis, as well as the battery charging, recharging process we can be monitored. Then BT surface area analysis, material surface area. If you want to analyze the 3-point analyzer or a 10-point analyzer, so this is a liquid nitrogen gas adsorption process. So using the surface, internal surface area, surface energy, internal pore volume, pore size, everything it can be measured. So next one is the EV visible spectroscopy. Using that concept, the nature of the material we are identifying. So every material which is having own specific absorption coefficient, right? So every material, why it will be every material which is have own specific absorption coefficient. So this is, it will be working basic principle of electronic transition. Whenever the absorption happen, so the electron, it will be promoted to valence bands to conduction band, right? So this is the actual transition it will happen. So that actual transition, it will be different for different element, right? So that's why this is the using that concept, it will be measured the fingerprint of the each material through the absorption. So next one, you are saying that already AFM. So atomic force microscope, right? Then TG analysis. So thermogravimetric differential analysis, it will be very useful information in order to understand the your material melting point, so crystallization temperature, at what temperature the crystallization it will be occur, and oxidation process, right? So material deformation. So through deformation we can be analyzed. So next one is the contact angle. It will be very useful for hydrophilic, hydrophobic nature measurement. So whether it be measuring a dynamic mode or as well as the static mode. So it will be very useful measurement, as well as the swelling property of the sample, it will be measured, right? So it depends upon the contact angle, the swelling property, it will be very, that the biological sample, suppose if you want to prepare a membrane like tissue, cellulose based material, so you can use it. Then photoluminescence spectroscopy. So this is a real emission of properties, right? So we can also identify, address the that recombination process, the recombination rate, how much the energy gap using that EV visible as well as the photoluminescence spectroscopy. So Wicker harness also, we having Wicker harness as well as the nano indentations. Then IV testers, the efficiency of material, solar cell material, we can be evaluated. So and also nanoscale bulk production. So we having a hard, spray pyrolysis techniques. So we are producing the large scale mass production of nanomaterial, right? So even though we are having a different kind of synthesis techniques available, so one of the technique we having the spray pyrolysis technique, we can produce the large scale. So even if you want, if you run the instrument, if you run the instrument for 2 hour, 3 hour, so we can collect the so minimum half kg of nanoparticle with the control particle size, right? So 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 at this end of the slide, I would like to wind up the session, right? So I would thank everyone. Thank you for participant patiently listening my my lectures. So and also I would like to thank the event organizer, this, Brinda, as well as the coordinator of this program, as well as the supporting partner, industry partner. I would like to thank organizer Ms. Brinda Ramasubramaniam, the research analyst, and the coordinator of these programs, Varshini Sriram, St. Joseph Engineering College, and also extend thanks to the industrial partner, Dr. V. Ganeshan, the CEO of ARRK Engineering Works Private Limited, Chennai, and also extend thanks to Mrs. Vijay Lakshmi, the founder of the Tiny Root Academic, Chennai. Then so Mrs. Divya Sriram, so the managing director, Sri Varni Creations, Chennai. Then at last, I would thank Mr. Josper Josha, the CEO, Blee Motivation, Chennai. So thank you one and all. Thank you for giving opportunity, being part of this event. So I will wish you all the success the coming days, very successful manner. Thank you one and all. So I would like to welcome discussion or any
Yes, sir.
queries.
Yeah, we'll take care from here. Thank you so much, sir. That was really a wonderful session. I would like to proceed with the vote of thanks. Participants, if you have any questions, I'll give you 2 minutes to ask them in the chat box. We will wait for 2 minutes. If any of the participants have any question related to the session, you want to ask the speaker, you can kindly post them now. We'll wait for 2 minutes. I repeat, if any participant has any questions, you can post it in the post box. Sir, we got one question from Shobana Narayana Sami, sir. How can we characterize the liquid samples?
So you know that liquid sample, it will be very difficult to measure using the A form, but we have to control. So then we have to maintain the ultra high vacuum, right? So when you're approaching ultra high vacuum, that is the condition. That is atmosphere we have to approach, right? So at the same time, we have to adapt the what kind of mode we are going to analyze. So that is in the case we have to use the non-contact mode. It will be more choice. So only thing we have to maintain the atmosphere, right? Since if you are atmosphere, if you are operating the open atmosphere, what will happen? The cantilever tip and tip, it will be contaminated, right? The open atmosphere, what will happen? Simply it will happen. So the reaction means that the attracting and the repulsive force, it will be distorted, right? The axial force, it will be distorted. Since we won't get any clear image. Since we go for ultra high vacuum, if you do that, if you are creating such an atmosphere, we can do it. So generally, most of the laboratory, they are not following, right? It's very difficult. We have to spend more time to take the sample.
Okay,
right?
sir.
So the kind of
Thank
sample, it will be how to spend almost 5 hours, 6 hours, even 8 hours, it will happen.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
So I guess we can conclude the session by proposing the
So
vote
any
of
other
thanks.
questions, you can ask. Don't hesitate.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, madam.
Participants, if you have any other questions, you can ask him directly by giving an email to his direct email ID. We can end the session because we are already have crossed the line. So I'll start the vote of thanks right now. On behalf of everyone attending the meeting and our supporters, event organizers, I extend my hearty thanks to Dr. A. Karthik for sharing his precious time with us and exchanging valuable information to our participants. The session as a whole was very informative and engaging. Sure, our participants will make great use of the content shared today, sir. I thank the participants who were cooperative and patient throughout the session. Hope this session was useful to the audience. Participants will receive feedback form only on August 26, 2020. Certificate will be issued to the participants who attend more than 5 sessions. Once again, I thank Dr. A. Karthik for giving his valuable time and organizing such an amazing session. Thank you so much, sir, and thank you all. That being said, till next time, this is Varshini signing off. Thank you.
Thank you,
Yeah,
madam.
thank you all. Thank you, Dr.